You're watching WJLA 24/7 News. Good Morning Washington. On your side.
And we're back at 7:08. President Trump feeling vindicated, taking a victory lap at the White House yesterday and telling his supporters that he did nothing wrong.
It was evil, it was corrupt, it was dirty cops, it was leakers and liars. And this should never, ever happen to another president, ever.
I don't know if the president understands about it.
And the president railed against his critics and Republican Senator Mitt Romney, who voted with the Democrats to impeach. And we bring in our Friday contributor, Armstrong Williams, now to discuss what has been quite the week in politics here in Washington. Good to see you, Armstrong.
Good morning.
I want you to comment first on the tone that the president took yesterday, first at the prayer breakfast and later at the White House. Back when President Clinton was giving remarks after his impeachment and then acquittal, he had a remorseful tone. I don't think we saw that from the president yesterday.
You know, from the moment we've talked about this, it has been very obvious to me that whatever the president was accused of did not rise to him being ousted from office in a presidential election year. But it should be very disheartening to see the president of the United States. He had no humility. He was very angry. And to believe in his mind that he had no responsibility, he did nothing wrong, even if you say it's bad judgment, to take no responsibility is to tell you that he learned nothing from this situation. And I don't know if that bodes well for the country. You know, I have a lot of respect for the president. I think he does a lot of good. But the president was just really mad yesterday, and he should have been grateful that he had Mitch McConnell and those Republicans who had the strength, because they put a lot on the line. And Susan Collins, I mean,
he did thank Mitch McConnell for holding the Republicans.
But still, to thank him after they said the president has learned something from this process, and then you hear the president himself yesterday. I mean, it was just, to me, it was sad. The president is better than that. And I just wish he said, and even at the prep breakfast yesterday, where he starts the prep breakfast off talking about Mitt Romney and Nancy Pelosi, that's where you put your swords down. You put your anger down. You find common ground. You find peace. He had an opportunity after he was acquitted to show that he could heal and bring the country together. He just did not do it, and that's sad.
Well, we had sort of dueling press conferences because we also heard from Nancy Pelosi yesterday, and of course after she ripped up his State of the Union address. Let's take a listen to what she had to say about that.
I tore up a manifesto of mistruths. It was necessary to get the attention of the American people to say this is not true, and this is how it affects you. And I don't need any lessons from anybody, especially the President of the United States, about dignity.
Whoa. So, you know, if we thought the relationship between the two of them was bad before, this is a new low. It's clear the two can't work together. What are the implications moving forward?
Listen, the president should have been presidential, would shake her hand, and Mrs. Pelosi, as the Speaker of the House, should not have torn up those papers while the world was watching. I mean, we should expect better of that from our leaders. I know it does great for the ratings, and people love to see a cat fight or whatever you want to call it, but it's not who we are as Americans. These are our representatives. When people see us, these are our optics. The president and Nancy Pelosi, whether they get along or not, they are entrusted in their positions by the American people, and we should demand certain expectations of them, and this is not what we want to see. Her tearing up these papers are the kinds of name and calling that they're calling each other. They really need to find a way, no matter how much they despise each other. All of us have conflict with people. They need to sit down and work this out, even if they have to fake it.
We have a job to do.
We have a job to do. Yes.
All right, I want to turn to the Democrats in our remaining few seconds here. And after Iowa, wow, they seem in disarray. I mean, 4 days before we get results from the Iowa caucuses, we're just learning today that Pete Buttigieg barely eked out a win over Bernie Sanders by 1/10 of 1 percentage point. Now there are calls from the Democratic Committee chair, National One, to do a recount or recanvassing in Iowa. Is the whole caucus system, should that be scrapped?
Well, listen, let's be candid here, Melanie. Anytime you use a new app or you introduce new data that has to do with technology, the first thing you do is work out the kinks. Just like with the new iPhone when it's released. You don't go and buy it first because you want to work out all the kinks to see what the issues are. It's obvious, it's common sense. If you're introducing this new app to bring the iOnes up to date in technology, you're going to have glitches. And obviously it was a glitch. I think the only person who really is going to benefit from this in the long run is Michael Bloomberg. But listen, Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders won. Biden and Elizabeth Warren has to go back to the water hole and figure out what they can do because their campaigns are tanking. You can call it whatever you want to do, no matter what the glitches are. Buttigieg and Sanders are the party's favorite right now. And that has the Democratic Party in a tizzy because they don't want Buttigieg. They don't believe Buttigieg and Socialist Sanders can defeat President Trump. So the Democratic Party needs to go and regroup and understand in the future when you're going to introduce this new technology, at least take 2 or 3 weeks to work out the glitches before you put it on national TV and embarrass yourself in the party. And that's what happened.
It certainly did. All right, and we're all eyes, I guess, on March 3rd, which will be Super Tuesday, and that'll be the first primary that Mike Bloomberg is actually interested in.
Watch him.
Yeah.
Watch
all right, you heard it here. Armstrong Williams, and you can catch the Armstrong Williams Show every Saturday morning at 10:30 here on WJLA 24/7 News. We will be right back.